Hello and welcome to the two people not at E3 the last 3 days. Hello everyone, this is the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode 30.
30. We're the big 3-0.
I know. We should do like a year in review when we get to...
Oh, God.
That's like October. It's a lot of editing. Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff going on at E3, both yesterday and today, with a bunch of games. I'm thinking I'll probably maybe do a E3 rundown tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. Just some stuff that I found really interesting, like Assassin's Creed, and so maybe I'll do something like that. Anyways, we have all kinds of fun movie and TV talk that we want to get into anyways, so we'll save the specialty stuff for the specialty episode.
Okay.
And a very special episode of the Pop Culture Cult. Walker, Texas Ranger tells a little boy that he's got AIDS, and then Roundhouse kicks him in the face. No?
Move on.
All right. So, although we're being juvenile, okay, I'm being juvenile, and jovial, we want to talk about the passing of Adam West, the original Batman. He passed away Friday night from a very short battle with leukemia. He was 88. Most people of the demographic age group that we are in will remember him as the Batman from the 60s. But most of the younger generation are going to know him as Adam West, the mayor from Family Guy. and so then he, if you go on IMDb, he's got a gazillion credits and stuff. So
probably a lot of voiceover work.
A lot of voiceover work and stuff like that. And it's only really been within the last few years that he's really kind of embraced being Batman and being, having all of that. And
well, yeah, I mean, 70s and probably even the 80s, even though those Batmans were coming out, then the campy 60s Batman really wasn't that popular. But now
we have the first season on Blu-ray, and it's campy, but it's fun. And that's when TV was like innocent and dumb, and it was okay and stuff. But unfortunately, Adam West is gone. He was here for Phoenix Comic-Con, not this year but the year before, with Julian Newmar and Robin. I can never remember his name. I'm so bad. And they did a full-on, the three of them did a panel together, and they did signings together and stuff, and it was kind of something that hadn't really happened in the past. And so they've been on the circuit. They were all supposed to be Adam West and Robin were supposed to be at Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con in like 3 weeks. So I'm wondering how they're going to handle all of that now.
Maybe they'll do some kind of memorial or something.
And Stan Lee's going, no. No. So passing of Adam West, that's gonna happen. We have a local DJ here in Phoenix who was saying that he was reading some comments on social media about people complaining, when is all these celebrity deaths gonna end? Why are all these celebrity deaths are happening? And he's like, it's going to get worse.
Everyone is going to die.
Yes, unless you're Keith Richards.
Well, that's true. He's just preserved.
Yeah, he just goes to every once in a while to Germany and gets an oil change. And but yeah, it was just funny. Like he was kind of making a comment about how, we're gonna lose Clint Eastwood and Robert De Niro and all these people. It's okay. It happens. It's called life.
The circle of life.
On a Ouija board. We're in a weird mood tonight.
Rein it back in.
Off the rails. So, we went to the Mummy movie on Friday. Apparently, we're the two of the six that actually went and saw it this weekend. We'll get into the box office in a minute. But while we were sitting and waiting for The Mummy, Facebook and Twitter and everything exploded because they finally showed the first. It was supposed to be a teaser trailer. That's more than a fucking teaser trailer of Black Panther.
Right.
And so the first thing that I actually want to talk about is the fact that they put it on Game 4 of the NBA Finals because the NBA playoffs have been so bad that they actually needed to get some ratings, and so they put the Black Panther trailer in like quarter number 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and and then the ratings went for shit after they showed it. But what'd you think? We just watched it again just to kind of refresh.
I thought it looked awesome.
It looks, yeah, it does look cool.
I can't wait.
We'll be honest with everybody. Everything we know about Black Panther we learned in Civil War.
Yeah, it's not a character that I even knew existed.
And I've talked about this before. I wasn't a huge comic book kid. I've gotten into them as an adult, but trying to catch up with everything that's ever happened in comics now that I'm in my 40s, trying to get caught up is like, impossible. So I'm slowly learning as I can. Wikipedia is awesome. But I just love the way it looks, and Wakanda looks amazing, and his female security guards are pretty badass.
Yeah. I like the setting. It's something different.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it looks very different than a lot of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Costumes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Different. Cool.
Yeah, and they're supposed to spend some time in Oakland too, because he's supposed to be like getting his education in Oakland. So they're supposed to spend some time in Oakland in like the 80s. So some period piece stuff would be kind of interesting.
Oakland,
yeah. Yeah.
Is that a black reference?
I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know. And so yeah, it looks really cool. And we had talked about this after we got done watching the trailer the first time while waiting for The Mummy. The first thing we both said was, it's awesome that Andy Serkis gets to play Andy Serkis.
a person.
A person. You actually see him as,
not a mocap.
If he does not get an Oscar, we haven't seen it yet. If he does not get an Oscar nomination, or at least in the conversation for War of the Planet of the Apes, for his Caesar, it's got to fucking happen at some point in time, right? Might as well be that one.
He should have. Smeagol, Caesar.
He should have got one for Smeagol.
He should have.
It was amazing.
I know.
But anyways,
stupid Academy.
We're looking forward to it. It's coming out next year, and with D23 and San Diego Comic-Con coming up, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of all that in Thor Ragnarok and blah blah blah.
Yep.
So, we talked about the weekend box office. Like we said, we're 2 of the 6 people in the United States that went and saw The Mummy. We did a full review of it, and it's posted to our page. We'll add it to the end of the trailer here, or the review to the end of the episode here. First off, Wonder Woman made almost $60 million in the second weekend. It was 57, and that was just domestically.
Domestically, yeah. And
worldwide was 58 million. It's total now 435 million in 2 weeks. Crazy numbers.
Yep.
But the one we wanted to talk about more was The Mummy, because we did go see it. We both did like it. It wasn't the best movie we've seen probably in the last week, but it was something that we really liked, and we were both glad we went and saw it and everything in the theater. It made $32 million on opening weekend here. Now, that's a huge loss for Universal and domestically. And I think that's something that was worth talking about. That Tom Cruise doesn't really have the domestic pull.
They didn't put him in it for the domestic pull.
No.
Did
they put it in it so it actually get done?
No, I think they put him in it for the rest of the world.
Right. 141.8 million in the rest of the world. So guess what? That movie has already made back its budget. and
He's the Jerry Lewis of our time.
he's a Jerry Lewis.
Because Jerry Lewis was huge in France.
He was, or David Hasselhoff in Germany.
David Hasselhoff in Germany, yeah.
And somehow I think he's still better looking than both of them. But yeah, I just they were talking about a Collider today about how this is such a huge loss for The Mummy, but the Dark Universe and that whole thing wasn't really made for the American audience.
I guess not. I
see it, and it's just really interesting that it did. $32 million is nothing to sneeze at, but nowadays,
when the movie how much did it cost?
It was
to
like
make?
175,
yeah,
180 or something like that.
That's not great.
So it's not great, and that's not including marketing. It was just making it.
Right.
So they haven't even broken even yet. They will break even. It's at the end of the Dark Universe. It's the internet, so fire and brimstone, and the world's coming to an end. They will make the next ones and continue on. They have a base now. It's a good starting point, but it's 40 to 45 million is kind of the going rate for a movie to be quote unquote successful on an opening weekend. Not everybody is Guardians or Beauty and the Beast or Wonder Woman. If you're making 100 million or more on a movie on opening weekend, that's big time.
Yeah.
I know it happens a lot now, but that's big time.
I think that's the problem. Is everybody, you get desensitized to, you're like, oh, it didn't make $100 million opening weekend. It was a flop.
Yeah.
No.
And people
they've still got international. And didn't you say it hasn't opened in Japan? And there was couple
something
other
else. Yeah.
countries that it won't open until like next week.
But
or
it made $68 million in China.
Right. Well, there is a billion people in China.
That's true, but I mean that's just it's a really random kind of China.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And then
whatever.
you've got DVD sales and in demand and all of that. So it'll make money.
It'll make money. It won't make a huge profit, but if Universal's being wise, and Universal typically has been wise in the past, they're not Warner Brothers or DC, but they've already crossed $3 billion in sales worldwide this year.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. I'm not doing any of that. But they also know that this was the first one. It's going to take a minute. It's not the Marvel model. It's not Warner Brothers and DC trying to overdo it. They're going to take baby steps and build it up. And then, we'll get down the line and we'll have Monster Squad or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or whatever they end up doing with all the monsters and have one big monster movie like the Avengers. At that point in time, that one, if it doesn't make $150 million in the opening weekend, then there's going to be problems. Yeah,
or maybe they just won't even go there because nothing else has gotten.
Yeah, I mean, if they
should have some forward momentum.
If they do Bride of Frankenstein, and it doesn't do well, and it's kind of critically panned, then they will readjust and reorganize and stuff like
probably.
that.
Yep.
It's better than 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't understand why it's getting panned so bad. It wasn't that bad. So TV stuff, we did our Doctor Who review on Sunday. It's posted to the page, and I can tag it to the end of this video. And so please go watch that and our Mummy review. I think you got an idea how we feel about Mummy. But we finally finished Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. So we're caught up on the Arrowverse outside of Supergirl. We talked about this before. Supergirl's just not our kind of thing, which is fine. So Arrow, we've got done with Arrow. I'm now gonna say this is probably the best season since season 2.
Yeah, I liked this season. Yeah.
The big bad this season was Prometheus. It's kind of an evil version of the Green Arrow, and we talked about this before when we did the Flash review. We're not going to do spoilers. We're just going to kind of do our overall review of the season and how we felt about it, without spoiling anything. But it's not a big surprise that Prometheus is the big bad, and you find out down the line who Prometheus actually is, and they handled all of that really, really well. That was a good story arc for it's 22 episodes this season, and I think Prometheus was like 12 or 15 of them. So it was a good story arc.
To me, a good villain, a good bad guy is someone who like pisses you off, like makes you mad.
Yeah.
You are happy when they get their due. And this one was definitely like, there's been some seasons and there's been some bad guys where I was like, yeah, go,
whatever.
You know, he's gonna get him in the end. But this season I was like, you need to get that.
Yeah. I liked the Damien Dark storyline last year with the magic and stuff like that. And they missed the boat on Ra's al Ghul the season before so bad. I was so pissed. I was almost ready to walk out on the show when they screwed up Ra's al Ghul so bad. But this season they handled it so well. It was so evenly constructed with a slow build the entire time, and it was just fantastic. At the beginning of the season, it's just Oliver and Felicity kind of doing stuff, and so they started bringing in new members. Wild Dog, who was awesome, he's actually going to be a full-time character next year. Mr. Terrific, played by Echo. Echo's awesome. The geeky kind of, he's been really cool. And then Evelyn Sharp, who was a vigilante, like little girl vigilante, and she was awesome. And then later in the season, they brought in Diane Drake, who kind of replaced Laurel as the Black Canary. And she's a metahuman. She's not actually got the apparatus thing or whatever, but she's actually a metahuman from Star City, and she's a good one, which is a big deal on Flash. You know, metahumans are terrible, but she was a nice addition towards the end of the season to kind of bring that Black Canary character kind of back in. And then
add a couple more girls back to the
got guy heavy there for a little while.
Yeah.
It made sense. It wasn't like they were trying to be. It made sense, and Speedy going away for a little while and coming back and stuff. The story arc they did with Diggle, kicking up, pulling him out of the military prison and stuff.
So
that was a lot of fun.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I was towards the end, without spoiling it, I was really getting pissed off at Diggle. And because
of that story arc or of the season?
No, that's the final story arc where he was like, where Felicity's like, I'm gonna do the thing, and everybody was kind of being not bad, but
going more gray to get things done.
Going more gray, yes, to get things done. And Diggle's like, no, we can't do it this way. And I'm like,
he's the moral compass.
Shut up! This is a bad guy. This stuff is happening, and sometimes
you killed your brother. Come on.
Yeah. I was really. He was being. To me, he was being whiny, and
he was being a little whiny bitch. Yeah, but I understood what they were trying to do with that. But they set his character up kind of to be the moral compass. But he lost that way, and so having him be the one trying to ring everybody back in wasn't really. It just didn't really make sense to me, and that's okay, but it doesn't take away from the season.
No, it absolutely didn't take away. But there was a couple episodes where I was just like, "You need to shut the fuck up."
And somebody needs to punch Diggle in the face for 5 seconds. One time I wanted Wild Dog or freaking somebody when he was being all. We need to be the good guys. I'm gonna just turn around to smack them. Just like, you need to kill somebody. That kind of thing. Just once. And then Diggle would have got up and said, "See, that's what I'm talking about." But that's fine. But the whole story arc for the whole season that I thought was actually really interesting, and they handled it perfectly, from my humble opinion, is Oliver Queen being mayor and being the Green Arrow. And having to do both jobs. And it wasn't easy. And how he had to do certain things that were against his character as mayor. So the Green Arrow wouldn't get in a compromising position. And then he had to do things as the Green Arrow. So the mayor wouldn't get in compromising positions. And that whole story arc was just so well done. So well done. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal to be able to pull off something of that in depth and being it makes sense, because they can get confusing really fast on who, who's on whose side and who's doing what for who and stuff like that. So I just overall, like I said, best season since season 2. I still think season 2 is probably my personal favorite. Season 1 for a setup season is really good. Season 2 is amazing. 3 can die in a grease fire. Actually, 3 is really good except for the last 3 episodes. 4 was pretty good last year. Season 4 last year was pretty good. This one, really, really good. And it's not a spoiler or anything. Manu Bennett is coming back as Deathstroke.
Yeah, it's been all over the internet.
It's been all over the internet. So that's that would make season 6 very interesting. And the 5-year story arc of the flashbacks and stuff that they've been doing for the whole story arc, that's all done.
Right, which if you haven't seen it, the finale wraps that all up.
Yeah,
pretty nicely.
Yeah, and I don't know where the fuck they're gonna go now.
Yeah,
just saying.
Uncharted territory.
Oh my god, they finished that episode and we both are like, okay, that's it. And then we finished Legends tomorrow. Again, same thing. We're not going to do any spoilers. We just got to kind of talk about the season. The big bad this season was the Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
And it had Damien Dark, because timey-wimey and shit. Malcolm Merlin. And Reverse Flash, whose name is Eberron Thrawn.
Thrawn.
No.
Yeah, Thrawn.
Oh, Thrawn. Yeah, no, Thrawn.
Yeah.
I was reading the next line. Reverse Flash. And Reverse Flash, because he can do time travel and stuff. They explain how he's still alive in this time period.
Yep.
Which is handled really well. They are the big bad for the season, but they show up occasionally.
Right.
The last few episodes, they're in most of the episodes because of the story arc and everything like that.
They gotta wrap it up.
Right, yeah. But for the most of the season, now this season was only 17 episodes. Right. And I thought that's about perfect for Legends. I think Legends it doesn't need to be 22 or 23 episodes. It throws it out a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
But they would show up in like the last 3 minutes of episode 3, and then they'd show up for like a couple different parts in episode 6. And then episode 10, they're like half the episode. So it was the big bad. You knew they were the big bad, but like that story arc was actually, I appreciate not doing a big continuous story arc, kind of like they did with Arrow, with Oliver bringing the Mayor and Green Arrow.
Well, and so I think the premise of Legends of Tomorrow supports that better than Flash or Arrow, and it kind of goes back to some of our complaints about this season or recent Doctor Who, is each individual episode can make sense and be a story all in itself,
right.
Because they're going back in time, they're going all over the place, so you've got all these little adventures and interesting things going on in each individual episode. Yeah. So you don't need all that action or whatever.
Right.
Whereas Arrow and Flash, it's the Flash, and he goes fast, and he's going after metahumans and I mean, there's not an episodic thing each week.
I really like Legends because of its Doctor Who-ness, for lack of a better term.
And a lot of people have said that it feels very Doctor Who.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like this season so much, is because they did so much time travel that they got to go do really random things and handle things really differently. They went to the Civil War. There's 2 black members on the team, and in the Civil War,
they had to deal with that.
They
met J.R. Tolkien.
Yep.
They
met George Lucas. The George Lucas episode was so much fun. I think it was the Back from Break. I think it was the first one back from break.
Yeah, it was real close to there. Yeah. So there's all this stuff they can do each episode.
Right,
they don't
right.
need this continuing story to give them something to do.
Right. There was a kind of a continuous kind of pointing at and stuff like that, and that was a small snowball that ended up into an avalanche towards the end of the season.
Right, and that ties the whole thing together.
With the Spear of Destiny.
Right.
And how they hid the pieces of the Spear of Destiny, and with the JLA, Justice League of America, JLA,
okay.
And how he kind of hid the pieces throughout time with JLA members and stuff like that. That was kind of a cool little twist, and so that kind of story arc was like I said, a snowball effect for the whole season. That was kind of cool. One of the things that kind of happened this year, which is odd for a show to have it happen, was Arthur Duval, who Darvel. Is it Darvel or Duval?
It's Duval. No, it's Darvel.
Darvel. Was like the lead of the show. And he's Rip Hunter. He's the captain. He brought the team together. It's his ship. He's the time agent. And so there was this thing that happened where he left the show for half of a season to go back to the UK to film Broadchurch.
Yay!
And which is awesome. And so so they had to turn around and lean onto somebody else, and they promoted. That's a better way of putting it. They promoted Katie Lutz, who plays White Canary, Sarah Lance, and made her kind of the lead of the show as the captain, and kind of based the show around her. And then when Arthur came back, he was kind of a secondary character to her.
Yeah,
and they handled that really, really well. And they actually even talked about in one of the later episodes after they get Arthur back, about how it's not his ship anymore, it's her ship. And even though she tried to give it back to him, he's like, nope, it's your thing, I'm working for you. And that was cool. That's just something that doesn't happen very often, where somebody's able to leave and then come back.
Yeah.
And
we'll see how they handle it next season, because I mean, it was really the last couple of episodes, right, where he was back. And you know, there was some, you know, captain, and they both said what, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how they do it next season. If she's gonna, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird that she's gonna just be the captain now. And
if Gideon, who's the computer on the ship, goes with it, then that's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
But this season was really good. This season was way better than last season.
Yeah, they're getting
they kind of got their feet under them.
Yeah.
And we're really I was really happy that Katie Lutz did such a great job. She's awesome. She's all over social media sharing, and she's at Coachella and doing all this stuff and whatever.
Yep.
So both seasons, all three of them, Flash, Arrow, Legends, all three of them were really, really, really good seasons.
Yep. And
probably some of our more favorite of the seasons for each of those shows.
Yep.
And now we have to wait till the second week in October, and the Arrowverse will finally come back.
We have a ton of stuff to watch.
We do have a ton of stuff between now and then. So, and we gotta do John Wick comes out tomorrow, and we still haven't opened Logan and all this other stuff. But
and we have Sense8, and we have Gotham, and we have S.H.I.E.L.D., and we're
not gonna be home this weekend. So, what do you guys think? Did you like the Arrowverse seasons this year? Are you looking forward to Black Panther? And so let us know. Like this video, leave us a comment, tell us what you think of everything that's going on in the movie, TV, con, E3 world. You can get a hold of us too on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult, or Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram, and we're at pop_cult1 on Twitter. Please subscribe and like all of our pages. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're at 74. Come on, people. Almost there. Share and like this video as much as you can, and leave us a comment. And until next time, good night now.